Welcome everybody. In today's video, I've got an interesting multi-tool for you. It's one that's been around a few years now, or at least this version of it. And it is the SWISSTOOL MX clip. I don't know why I haven't gotten one of these sooner. This thing is pretty awesome. I can even see the base Victorinox MX model without the one-hand opening and the pocket clip thing being better than I thought it was. So, as some of you may know, for several years I carried the SWISSTOOL X every day for a couple of years. Like, this sucker has been through a lot and has done a lot. And I still like this a lot. I mean, it's a big tool. I got big hands. I don't know, just something about the big appealed to me. But this is a little bit smaller and a little bit more compact, but yet just about as handy, with one or two things that I kind of wish that they had done differently. But this little multi-tool's claim to fame, as some of you may know, is that the base model of this, and we'll just use this as an example, does not have a one-handed opening knife blade or a pocket clip. Now, you probably don't want a pocket clip on this guy because he's too big and bulky, but, it takes two hands to work this sucker, and you need a pouch, or just one heck of a cargo pocket or magazine pocket or something to hold this. Whereas this little guy has a pocket clip built in, or not built in, but attached, that you can swap to the other side depending on how you like to carry your multi-tools. And then the one-handed knife blade. Like, those two are big tipping points for a lot of people to be like, oh yeah, now I want this tool. So, the Victorinox MX clip. This is, I've had it for a day or so now. Better than I thought, and I'm surprised I didn't bite the bullet and buy one sooner. Let me get the two hardest tools to open on this out of the way, just straight out of the bat. The two that are hardest to get is the scissors, which are right off the bat, just I don't like that style of scissors. I don't know why they couldn't have gone with this, with the old style of scissors. These are not bad. These cut delightfully well, but it's just like, why did they have to make a whole new scissor for the multi-tool? I don't know. That's just my little thing about it. Because they could have made a scaled down version of that to fit in this, like the form factor, But this is probably the hardest tool to open on the entire multi-tool. Supposedly you can kind of bend back the little back springs there, but I don't know if I want to do that just yet. And then the saw. And then the saw, I will say, compared to a Victorinox 91mm sack saw, is shorter. Because the Swiss Champ tooth for tooth is actually a little bit longer than the multi-tool. Just so you know, in case you hadn't seen the size comparison of the saws before, like the base 91mm Swiss Army knife saw is going to be a little bit longer. Let's take the Farmer X here and see what we've got. Tooth for tooth, sharpened tooth, sharpened tooth. It's about the same as the Swiss Champ. So, but if the saw isn't the biggest thing on your gotta have list, that's fine. And it's not like this is made to cut down trees, it's just made to cut little tidbits here and there. Maybe a 2x4 on the odd occasion. Nail file, or not nail file, but just the generic file here. Super awesome. Like, that was one of my favorite bits about the old SWISSTOOL, is that file. Like, that is a beast of a file. The best file on the market. If you're not getting a diamond coated file from Leatherman, this is the way to go. Up next we have a reamer awl with the little parcel hook thing, or you could use that as like a camp stove, like you got a pot on a campfire or something, you could hook your pot, pull it off, Good little tool, all in all. I've had good results with Victorinox awl reamer combos. And then this little guy here, we have the two wire strippers, cable stripper and wire stripper, and then a chisel with an edge, a secondary edge ground into the smaller side there. Very interesting, good for like clamshell package openings and stuff. And compared to the old file here. You know, there are some differences. The cable cutter is certainly bigger. The chisel is maybe a little narrower on the SWISSTOOL, but very comparable overall. But this is really, really well done. And where this tool probably comes out a bit ahead over the SWISSTOOL is it takes two of the SWISSTOOL's tools and puts them into one. And that would be the chunky crate pry bar here, which is this thick piece of metal here, slightly tapered, and then the combo flathead cap lifter bit here. It takes those two things and combines them into this tool here, and that sucker is chunk incarnate. Like, this is just a thick hunk of steel that you can work really, really well with as a medium duty pry bar. And to showcase the thickness here is the tools on this touch. There's no washers between the tools as far as I can tell. And so I try to put that in this slot here, and it does not fit. This is fatter than the original pry bar on the SWISSTOOL. The SWISSTOOL pry bar will go right in. The Spirit pry bar will not. So that just tells you just how much thicker this is compared to the OG. And this is going to get some use out of me for sure. Going to the other side, claim to fame of the main knife blade, comparing that to the original knife blade, certainly smaller, as one would expect, and comparing it to a 91mm sack blade, again, a little bit smaller than a Swiss Army knife sack. But to me, the knives on these guys are secondary knives. My main blade is going to be a dedicated pocket knife of some sort, such as the Kershaw Culpeper SMKW collab. Delightful little knife there. Or even the NAF's Lander 1. You know, just a dedicated knife blade. Most of us in the EDC world, I think, will agree that multi-tool knife blades are secondaries. But this can be a main blade if you've got to travel light, because recently I've come across more situations where I can't have my full kit on my belt due to social acceptance, so we'll call it. And so I kind of need to have something that's capable in my pocket, and this doesn't do well in pockets. This does delightfully well in pockets. Up next, we have the standard VICTORINOX flathead can opener combo. Very good tool. That's going to see a lot of use. On the other side of that, we have a small flathead. Very nice, very handy. And then Dominic over at Maxwell VDC says that this was like the hardest tool for him to open for a while on his SWISSTOOL, but out of the box, this one was a breeze. Like, I'd have no troubles with this, and I have super soft nails. Like, my nails are not, they'll bend easy. So, you know, this coming out easy was a surprise. But, you know, a dedicated number 1, number 2 Phillips, like, this sucker is fantastic. Like, I've had this on this SWISSTOOL for a long time, and that has done so much, so well. Like, I don't think I'm going to have any issues with the Spirit MX clip version of that. In fact, this might be a little bit better because it's a little bit straighter than this. This kind of like curves out like that. Not great for getting straight down into a hole, whereas this looks like it's better for getting straight down into a deeper hole to unscrew some Phillips. And then, of course, the scissors. The scissors cut really, really well. There is no problem with how the scissors cut. It's just that I don't know why Victorinox themselves just designed a straight up new style of scissors for their multi-tool. That's just my little qualm about it. They're good scissors. They're just, I don't get why they just redesigned them from the ground up on that. And then the plier head is certainly a little bit different. The old SWISSTOOL is definitely shorter, chunkier, blockier. Definitely more suited for heavier tasks, whereas this is definitely more for the finer tasks of getting in there while still being able to do some heavy-duty bits, and plus very, very finely ground here on the tip. Like, you could pull hairs with how fine that is there at the tip on that. Very, very nice. Still not as thin as the Gordon multitool. Gordon multitool definitely takes the Victorinox one by a little bit there on just how narrow and fine those tips can get. But we're not talking about them that much. This is mostly just this tool here. I love this tool. I've had it for 2 days now. Like, this thing is fantastic. I don't know why I didn't buy one sooner. If you've been comparing these two online, I'll make a review about these down the road. But I recommend getting the Victorinox Spirit, any of the Spirit models, I think. I would recommend the MX clip, because you get the pocket clip with it in the package. No sheath, because it has the pocket clip. And the one-handed knife blade. Like, that is just really nice. And people say that that is bad for sharpening, and I don't really think so, because the angles that you would choose to sharpen this with, the tang of that thumb ramp would not be in the way. Just a personal side note there. So, that is the Victorinox MX clip, the Victorinox Spirit MX clip. Delightful little tool. Glad I got one finally. He's going to get a lot of pocket time, and yeah, I think this is better than I thought it was going to be originally. And the pocket clip is very, very solid, by the way. Like, that's not budging hardly at all, despite only being one screw in place holding it there. This thing, I think, is going to be a worthwhile tool if you've been considering one. They are pricey, coming in at just under $200, but this is Victorinox Swiss engineering quality that we're talking about. It is worth the money. I do think you should consider checking this out. So, with all that said, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe, comment, yada yada yada. Hope you found this video useful, informational. Hope it helps you build your EDC to your standards. And until the next time, farewell, carry well, and bye-bye.